Africa Investor Today is proudly brought to you in association with Petro SA and Afrexim Bank. Good day and a very warm welcome to Africa Investor Today as we bring you news from across the African continent. I'm Avon Middleton and we start today with politics and economy news. Authorities in Angola have kicked off a public debate about a new constitution that is likely to continue President José Eduardo dos Santos' grip on power and delay elections until 2012. The ruling Popular Movement for the Liberation of Angola, the MPLA party, presented a draft charter that keeps the president as the head of government and commander-in-chief, as is currently the case. Its proposal, one of three, is called the Presidentialist Parliamentary Government System. The MPLA, which holds more than two-thirds majority in Parliament, also wants to hold both legislative and presidential elections under one single poll, a move likely to delay presidential elections scheduled for this year until 2012. In other news, Libya's Muammar Gaddafi is now seeking to realize his dream of a United States of Africa from the bottom to the top through traditional leaders. And so, last week, a small but significant meeting took place at the offices of the National Heritage Ministry headquarters, marking the Kenyan phase of a series of meetings sponsored by Colonel Gaddafi. Gathered in the room were councils of elders drawn from various communities, complete with the medallions and their regalia. The leaders were part of a cultural organization spearheaded by the Libyan leader. According to a document on the organization, the forum's main objective is to make it an instrument of integrated development and promote African culture. It also seeks to be a tool of social regulation and to strengthen the cooperation between African institutions and governments. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Redefining energy means redefining life. At the Petroleum, Oil and Gas Corporation of South Africa, our commitment to greater innovation and greener fuels has made us pioneers in the field of gas-to-liquids technology. It has also earned us worldwide recognition for producing the cleanest fuels through environmentally friendly processes. That's how we've become the international leader in diesel technology. Through pure innovation, pure energy, pure brilliance.
Onto some companies and markets news now. At a time when most companies are recording losses because of the current economic downturn, Guinness Nigeria has posted a 14.2% profit after tax in its financial year ending June 2009. In the annual report and account presented to shareholders, the company's turnover grew by 29% from 69.1 billion naira to 89 billion naira, while its profit after tax increased from 11.8 billion to 13.54 billion naira. In recognition of the performance and return on investment for its shareholders, Guinness's board of directors recommended the payment of a dividend of 11.06 billion, representing 7.50 per share. And African Dawn Capital yesterday plunged the most since at least 2005 after the investment company revised earnings lower and the new board started a probe into what led to the adjustments. The stock slid as much as 35% to 52 cents, its steepest intraday decline since February the 1st, 2005. The company said on Wednesday that it might post a loss of R1.09 a share in the year through February from previous earnings of 87.9 cents per share. African Dawn also said that the board initiated a forensic investigation into what caused the adjustments. We're going to continue with more news right after this short break.
Afrexim Bank is Africa's leading trade finance bank, an organization dedicated to promoting African trade through credit, risk-bearing and advisory services. We pride ourselves on having local presence throughout the continent and are committed to extending our award-winning trade and project finance programs to unlock private sector development continent-wide. We invite you to become a part of our vision for a strong Africa in a changing world. If you trade within Africa, contact us to support you.
And on to banking and finance news. African Bank MD David Woolham hailed an important vote of confidence from foreign investors after the bank secured a 150 million rand subordinated loan from German development finance institution DEG. The loan, which qualifies as Tier 2 capital under the Basel II Accord, has a 7-year term and is priced at the 3-month Johannesburg Interbank agreed rate plus 538 basis points. African Bank has hedged its African Bank as South Africa's largest provider of loans to people on low and medium incomes. And Nigeria's first bank intends to use a planned 500 billion naira bond to help fund acquisitions both in Nigeria and abroad. Nigeria's central bank has said it expects a second round of consolidation in the banking industry after injecting 600 billion naira into the sector since mid-August to bail out 9 weakly capitalized institutions. Apparently, the rescued banks will be run until new investors can be found to recapitalize them. Renaissance Capital said in a report last week that it expected First Bank, along with Guaranty Trust Bank, United Bank for Africa and Zenith Bank, to emerge as clear leaders in the Nigerian banking sector. And with that, we're going to take another short break. More news when we come back.
Africa Investor, the leading African investment magazine, is essential reading for investors in Africa, filled with the very latest in Pan-African investment and finance news. In addition, log on to africa-investor.com to find out more about our exciting capital market infrastructure and tourism events, and our long-standing investable Africa Investor 100 Index series, which tracks over $600 billion of African equities. Doing business in Africa, you can't afford to be without Africa Investor.
And in infrastructure news now, Johannesburg Water showed off a newly constructed 267 million rand water purification unit yesterday to reduce raw sewage spilled into rivers. This is said to be a huge project. The construction of Unit 5 was completed in July, and it now pumps out 50 megalitres of water a day that is clean enough to flow back into rivers and streams. The project was commissioned in 2004. And Kenya will start importing crude oil using large tankers with a capacity of 1 million barrels upon completion of dredging the navigation channel at the port of Mombasa. Petroleum Institute of East Africa said the government's 16 billion shilling Mombasa port expansion plan entailing ocean floor dredging will allow large tankers to dock. The Kenya Ports Authority has submitted to the National Environment Management Authority an environmental impact assessment study report on dredging works aimed at accommodating new generation, bigger vessels to increase Mombasa's competitiveness. And the International Monetary Fund said the hydrocarbon industry may contribute to Algeria's growth for the first time in several years in 2010. The Washington-based IMF, which completed an assessment of the country's economy and policies, said that a marked reduction in hydrocarbon production will limit an expansion this year of Algeria's economy, projected to grow at 2%. Algeria, a member of OPEC, is Africa's biggest producer of natural gas. And with that, we wrap up today's news. Do log on to www.africa-investor.com for more African news. From us here, goodbye. Africa Investor Today is proudly brought to you in association with Petro SA and Afrexim Bank.